Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 4 of the Abandoned Armoire Restoration Project. Stay up late last night, July 4th, and got all the nails out. Everything is metal free now. So I'm, I'm down to the point of just assessing what all is going to need to be done. I mean, I could just glue it all back together right now, nail it or whatnot, but I want to make it better than it was. So I'm going to start with the front and just kind of dry fit it all together. And we'll walk around and see what improvements need to be made. So let's go get all the pieces. Okay, I got the front just pieced together. Certainly nothing's nailed, screwed, or glued. I just wanted to see how it all fits together. So let's go through it and see what kind of repairs, modifications, improvements we need to do. We'll start with the doors. The biggest thing I noticed right off the bat is over on this side, I've got the hinges set flush like they were attached. But if you go over here, we've got a gap, maybe a quarter of an inch or so. So essentially what's wrong is the doors are too wide. Now I noticed whenever we picked it up off the side of the road, the doors would not close. You know, it was like they were too big. Probably they had swollen up from getting wet and whatnot. To make it even worse now, since I have kind of planed some of these sideboards, I've taken some of the width out, so the hinges are stuck even further out. Easy fix. All I have to do is shave off some of the width of the doors. And that'll come from planing them down or cutting them even if I have to. Also, where the doors come together, you have to have kind of a bevel. Otherwise, the inside corner will hit as you try to close. There is no bevel there. I think originally they intended there was going to be a gap between them because they had this little strip of wood glued, you know, to where you open one door first and then the other door. I don't like that. I want them to sit flush, so we're going to wind up beveling them some. I also didn't like the little magnetic uh, fasteners to keep the doors closed because they were screwed in right at the surface of that shelf, so they stood out. You know, I don't like that. I have an idea. Invisible magnets. That's going to be fun. I think that'll work out really nice. So, shrink the doors. Now, the condition of the doors. You can see these mortises, tenon and mortise joints. There's a lot of air gap there. I think that might be from swelling and time, just kind of working their way apart. It appears they were glued because I didn't find any nails. Hey, I left some nails right there, staples. Now, I toyed with the idea of taking apart the doors. I don't think I'm going to do that because if I take them apart and kind of sand them or plane them or whatever separately, I'm going to run into the same issue of things fitting back together nice and snug. So I'm going to clean them up, of course. I'm going to sand all the surfaces, try to sand these bevels intact without taking it apart, and then do some clamping and forcing and try to get these joints tight again. So that's my plan. I think it would save me a lot of work rather than tearing them all apart. Same thing on the bottom doors. You see right there, we're starting to come apart. But if I can make those joints tight again, the surface will close those gaps as well. So I think that's it for the doors. Let me go ahead and get them out of the way, and we'll look at the frame, the front frame. So the frame is put together, actually the whole armoire is put together using what's called mortise and tenon joints. That's where the little tongue sticks into a groove on the other board and it fits up. It's a fairly strong kind of joint. Before we get to that though, the decorative little trim that's up here, as you recall, it was broken when we picked it up. However, it's a clean break. I think it's where some of these strips of wood they used glued together to make this curve. I think that's actually where two pieces connected. Real clean break, easy to glue up, easy fix. Now, these mortise and tenon joints. As you saw earlier, I clamped everything together as tight as I could, yet there's still this massive gap. What's happened here is that tenon, the tongue part, is too long. I have no idea how that happened. I did do some planing on this piece of wood, so maybe I'm the one that planed it off a little bit. Easy fix. You just shorten these tenons so that there's a nice tight fit when I glue it back together. I'm not going to use nails. I'm gonna glue it up everywhere that I can, which means I'm going to have a bunch of these little nail holes, staple holes to clean up. But yeah, just about every mortise and tenon joint, those are pretty good, is going to need a little bit of work. Let's look at the feet. There's really not much to it. The wood just ends, and that's what it stands on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more wood right there to give a bigger base, and I'm going to put some inset adjustable screw feet so that you can level it on potentially an unlevel floor. This bottom decorative piece, I have it upside down from where it was originally on there, because if you look on the other side, those little edges looks like they've been chewed on. Dogs, whatever. So I'm going to clean all that up. I'm also going to kind of put a nice routed edge on a lot of this to give it a more classy look, I guess you'd say. The wood is very uneven. Show you this. See how this is higher than this piece? I'm going to want to plane all this to where it's exactly the same height, and then I'm going to sand it once it's all back together so that it is a smooth, consistent surface from top to bottom, side to side. So we got to do that as well. The front frame is actually in really good shape. Really good shape. The mortise and tenon joints, I mean, they kind of went a little big, but luckily, these places here won't show so much because there's going to be doors and drawers. These top pieces, yeah, they might show. Figure out what I'm going to do about that. Maybe a thin piece of trim, like a veneer, maybe. So, okay, that's it for the front. Now let's look at the sides. Okay, I had to stop the video and resort some things. I was putting the wrong pieces in the wrong order, but I finally got it figured out. Got it all clamped together. It's not glued again. It's all just dry fit together. And I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised about the sides. They are in really good shape. So let me show you what we got. All right. This actually looks worse than it is because of the different coloring of the wood where the boards came together originally. Let me show you a really good one. This joint is in really good shape. Got that crack, but I can clamp that and glue that shut. But I mean, you can almost not even see the seam. Really good. There's a lot of chipping of the wood everywhere, but with proper clamping, it came together better than it was whenever I unloaded it from the U-Haul truck. There are some things that need repairs. This side is in pretty sad shape. I'm gonna have to probably run it across the table saw, shave off just a little bit, and if I wind up shaving too much, I can go back with a thin strip of pine to fit, glued it up. I think it'll look all right. But all told, it looks really good. Keep saying that. Okay, this piece here, that's pretty bad. Just for fun, I might actually try making one of these pieces that have all these angles and bevels and everything, just to see if I can. And this piece here would be a good candidate for replacement. Now, let's look at the back or the inside. Okay, let's see what we got. Got this real long groove. That is where the back is going to reattach. Again, the feet are in Pretty sad shape. Worst case, I just cut all the legs off and go back with something new. That's pretty bad there. Another crack there and a piece missing. That I can replace that. A little bit of gap there. Again, it could be that tenon is too long. So if I cut a little bit off of it, I might be able to clamp it down a little tighter. I think I'm going to take a little bit off of every single tenon because it really doesn't affect the strength of the joint as long as the tenon can fit in there snugly. It doesn't really matter that it goes all the way to the bottom of the groove. That's it for today. Next episode, we'll take a look at the top, the middle, and the bottom, as well as the back. And that's where all those slats are. So we're on our way, and I promise I'll record anything significant. I won't get ahead of you without showing you. We'll catch you later.